One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family. Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Sunday. My name is Lisa Ferraro. I'm the founder and spiritual director of SoulCall Global. We welcome you wherever you are this morning. And if you're tuning in later, we welcome you as well. And thank you for tuning in to these opportunities to learn and grow as we explore the theme for January, which is the growing edge, the growing edge. And generally, as we begin a new year, it's an opportunity for us to begin again, or to start something for the very first time. And today we're going to explore the idea of as within, so without. The inside edge is what we're going to explore today, and understanding the relationship between as within, so without, like how we bring forth from the depths of our being that which we materialize into form and share with others. And so it's learning how to discover, uncover the relationship between what's going on the inside and how it brings things to fruition for us on the outside. And this morning, we like to talk about Qigong. It's an ancient Chinese practice that is profound. The wisdom of it is deep, and it's deep and expansive at the same time. This is the perfect practice we've kind of cultivated that we like to incorporate in our Sunday mornings, just to give you an opportunity to practice something that helps connect the mind with the will, with the life force, with the body, with all the energy of the universe. And so this morning we welcome Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz to offer our Qigong experience and practice it with her.
All right. So please, either in a standing or seated healing posture, we work on an external experience, but a deeper internal understanding. As always, with the eyes open, using the mind's awareness, move to the back of the head and open up to the chi field behind you and within you. At the same time, moving forward to the sides, above through Ba Hui, and below through Yongshen. All directions, connecting, moving out to infinite space, connecting, merging, integrating us all as one. Then gently moving back to the center of the head and gently close the eyes. Inside, outside are one. No boundaries, no limitations, no differences. The same high vibration. Bring chi palms up to a comfortable place. Inside and outside are the same. Now open up. Open inside and outside. Merging. Opening, opening, opening. Now gently gathering deep inside, opening even further, deeper. Gathering, then open, Kai, gathering, Kai, opening, Kai, Kai, continue. No boundaries, no limitations. Vibration getting higher, chi field very strong, bright. Kai, 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 Kai. Then hold, bringing all the chi outside to inside. Palms on top of navel, do chi, your spirit palace. Inside, very high vibration for health, healing, balance, fully present and aware. Relax the hands to the side. Very gently open the eyes and give thanks for a new brief understanding from the inside.
From the inside. Thank you, Deborah. Imagine when we can begin to gather in groups more. A bunch of us doing these practices all together. And that is going to be coming in the year ahead. And also just wanted to alert you to the fact that we're going to be having 2 offerings of a video series, one from Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz and one from Sifu Helen Yi, offering the extended version, the extended play versions of the video series that will teach these motions, these forms, if you will, of Qigong, so that you can incorporate it into your daily practice. So that's going to be coming pretty soon, along with yoga. Well, more about that later. But right now, just riding that wave of peace, recognizing that the inside edge doesn't have to be edgy. It's just we become aware of it when we're right there, and maintaining that quality of the character, the poise of peace, and allowing that to grow deep within and manifest without, materialize into form, if you will, to show up as peace. So let's take this opportunity to go into the deep meditation of peace with this song called Peace.
When the world feels heavy with sorrow and my heart hangs weary and sore, when I start to lose my faith in tomorrow and see no end to this endless wars, I close my eyes and hear a voice whisper quietly, saying peace, peace, peace begins with me. Oh, peace, peace, peace begins with me. Trying to find our way to peace, we must see that peace is the way. Peace isn't every step we take, it's how we walk through every day. So close your eyes and hear a voice whisper lovingly, saying peace, peace, peace begins with me. Oh, peace, peace, peace begins with me. Peace in every moment, peace in every step, peace in every heartbeat, peace in every breath, peace in every moment, peace in every step, peace in every heartbeat, peace in every breath, peace in every moment, peace in every step, peace in every heartbeat, peace in every breath.
Breathing that peace into my expanded awareness. Peace in every cell of this beautiful being. Our soul has the privilege of dancing and playing on this planet Earth, in connection with all of life, teeming forth as love in its various forms. We open to the inner beauty, and we allow for this inner beauty to expand out into the seen and the visible world, floating on a breeze of bliss. I say yes. Om, peace. Amen. Feeling peaceful is one way to allow for that expanded state. There's so many things happening on the planet right now, as just about every time in history. And now it's a little more intense. It feels like there's an exclamation point behind some of the activities of some of the people on the planet right now, some of the things that are being introduced into our consciousness. And what we can recognize is when we're tense and afraid, we contract. When we're feeling peaceful, we expand. And so putting to practice this year, the inside edge, is recognizing that at every moment, we have the ability, we are equipped and wired to maintain a peaceful disposition throughout all of it. When we learn to participate more with our inside edge, the inner edge. And a lot of it has to do with, exploring this growing edge, but to be willing to shift habits and patterns. We must be willing to shift habits and patterns in order to grow and change, let's say grow and expand, shifting our habits and patterns. When I think of the inside edge, I think of a couple things. I think of skating. There's the edge of the ice skates, which is always interesting. But then when I think of the growing edge, I think of catching an edge. When I used to downhill ski, I did that a lot and loved it. In the mountains of Pennsylvania is where I learned. So talk about catching an edge. That was part of the weekend or the week. No matter where you were, somebody, most often it was one or more of us catching an edge. You don't want to do that. That could be really painful. But when, in central Ohio, there aren't many opportunities to ski downhill anyway. There aren't necessarily mountains. I call them slopes. They're not really high enough. They're enough to like, ain't no mountain high enough in central Ohio. There's really not. But doesn't mean we can't take the opportunity to do our inner work with our growing edge. So I'm thinking about shifting habits and patterns on the inside edge. It reminds me of a story. The very first car I bought with my high school graduation money was a car I had my eye on. I would see it on the way to school, and it was a stick shift. Now, at the time, I did not know how to drive a stick shift, but I knew I could do it if given the opportunity. It was something I was sure I could do. I knew I could learn it. But in order to get that car, I needed to know how to do it. And my mom knew how to drive a stick shift, but when she learned how to drive a car with a clutch, it was back when on the steering column, that's where the gear shift was. The clutch was still on the floor, but the gear shift was on the steering column. So it was a different pattern there than was on the floor models, the stick shift on the floor. So here's what we did. I went to buy that car with my graduation money, and my mother came with me when I came to pick it up. And we had this deal worked out. She would steer the car and work the clutch. And because I knew the pattern, she had the habit of the clutch. I had the pattern of the stick shift. We would start driving and I would say, now. She would push in the clutch and I'd put it in second verse. Drive a little further and you'd hear the engine till it's time. I'd say, now. She'd push in the clutch. I'd put it in third. So how did I learn? I used to watch the bus drivers. Shifting and patterns. We had some teamwork going on there, which was nice. Sometimes people can help us shift if we know the pattern we're trying to accomplish. This is called our circle of friends. So my mother was my support system in learning how to maneuver my car. Let's use that as metaphor of life, my being, till we got to a certain point and we were almost home and it was pretty level on the way back at this point. And my mother pulled the car over and she said, okay, we're going to switch and you're going to do the whole thing yourself. You know what you're doing and you're going to bounce it a couple of times. You're probably going to stall it a couple of times, but don't worry about it. Everybody does that. Just figure it out. You'll get it. So brave woman got in the passenger seat and I was terrified. I didn't want to break my car, but pushing deeper into the inside, I went to the edge of oh my God, pushed past that edge to my growing edge on the inside. And from that, I was able to bring forth into the world the courage I needed and the calm to just focus on the task at hand. Starting to figure out how to focus on what I wanted and not what I didn't want. So I became very focused on the feel of how these things work together. I'd never done this before. But the most important part of that whole thing was right from the beginning, I was told by my mom, you're probably going to stall it. You're going to bounce it. Like, she told me all the things that were most likely going to happen. So don't try to avoid them. Just recognize these challenges as part of the learning curve. And I think about this in our growing edge and the classes we're offering, coming up this January. There's a way that we try to make things easy, where we try to tell people it's easy. Well, what my mom did was set me up for success in a way by telling me you can do it. And these challenging things are going to happen first. She didn't say it's hard, you're not ever going to get it. She didn't say that, but she did let me know what was most likely going to happen so that when it did happen, I was kind of expecting it. What if we allow ourselves that kind of gentle guidance of, you know what, I'm going to try to create a new habit by shifting my patterns of thinking this year. I'm going to know where my growing edge is because I'm actually going to explore it this year. I'm going to go deeper than I've ever gone. I'm going to do it with gusto, with courage, with commitment, with support from a loving community who knows I can do it and who can be with me when I fail or fall or bounce the car. Maybe it's a little bumpy, but I'm going to get it. If we prepare ourselves, somebody told us right off the bat, hey, life is hard. It's hard. It's not always easy. what a difference that could make in the way we approach things. If our expectation is, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, no, it's not. 1, 2, 3 wasn't easy either until you learned it. So just remember, I think of this all the time. I'm going to start something new, which, evolving SoulCall Global, you can ask Natalia, like how many new things we both had to dive into getting this thing going. Reverend Christy too, just like learning this format and like all the different things that come along with it. Some of them are easier than others. But once you develop the willingness to push beyond what appears to be a limitation, the realization will happen that there is no limitation at all. It's what we're willing to participate with, what we're willing to shift, and what we're not willing to shift. So getting back to this car analogy, yes, ma'am, I bounced it. We laughed so hard. I said, oh my God, I feel like I'm on a horse. Like I feel like I'm in a rodeo. I jerked it, stalled it. People behind were not, as compassionate, beeping the horn, as my mom and I just cracked up laughing. But eventually, we made it home, and she never got back. She never got back into that car again with me until I knew how to drive it. But the point was, you don't need me. You got this. I watched you have a couple. You've got it. You just have to practice. Just do it. So I drove it around the block. How we do it. I prescribed an area for myself where I could practice without hurting myself or anyone else. I didn't try to take it across country, or certainly not up in the mountains and the hills of Western Pennsylvania. Talk about rerouting things. This is before, Waze and all of that. I was like an expert rerouter of how to get to places without having to pull the clutch on a hill. Until one day I just had it. I was like, you know what? I have to go up the hill to get to an event at my high school. And I did it. And that was it. There's no turning back. So with this story, think of yourself as shifting patterns. Make the habit growth. And allow yourself to know that it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And with that, recognize that your mental fortitude, like all of these tools, the courage, the willingness to keep at it. Anything we do well, we've practiced. I used to think I was born just with the ability to just sing. I was born with a passion of singing and a gift. But when I realized, reading Malcolm Gladwell, the 10,000 Hours book, I probably had 10,000 hours of singing, and by the time I was 8, you couldn't make me shut up. That's all I did. I became very proficient with this. But anything that is worth incorporating into your life is worth lining up your attention, the time, the duration, your willingness, and your heart, with courage. Go for it. Allow yourself to change your habits by changing the patterns which support those habits you want to change. So I want to stop doing this, or I want to begin doing this. What other habits need to change? Or patterns. All right, if every time I go past, the bakery, I need to pull in and buy a donut, maybe go home another way until you stop craving the donut. And then test yourself. I can drive past any bakery and not have to pull off the road and get a donut. I can do that now. There was a time when I was in sales, I knew where every bakery was in the tiny little towns that I called on. And that was my highlight of the afternoon. After my work, that was my reward. That was not serving my highest and best all the time, but you get control of these things. So how do we do it? So we bring forth some of that new energy. And I think of a time when this was true for you, where you had to really reach back and bring something from within you, deep within, like reach back and grow your outer edge. And it's like a tree. We may be looking at trees right now, and it's interesting to recognize that if we use the tree as an analogy for our beings. One thing I didn't realize until I worked for a lawn care company was that the root system of the tree is equal, the circumference underneath is equal to the branches up top. So as within, one is not visible, the other is made visible into the seen world. And what if If there's something wrong with the tree, it's from you nourish it from the roots to pull it back up through the tree. And you could tell what's wrong with it, or what's off or out of balance by the way the leaves are showing up and the certain spots maybe on the leaf, or the way they're curling instead of opening. When I started to think, like, what if leaves then, if the branches are people and the leaves, what if the leaves are our thoughts and the things we say? If we're curled up, what if we're fearful? What if we're not being nourished internally and bringing forth something of beauty for ourselves and others? Our thoughts create our world, right? So what if, as we're doing our work in the winter to bring forth something beautiful in the spring, we start doing the inner work, finding out where that inner edge is? And, we've set it up, how to do this. We're really thoughtful about the way we unfold classes and workshop opportunities. Let's just call them opportunities for growth. Class implies that we're telling you something you don't already know, and that's not true. Ours is a discovery process. We would like very much for you to participate in your own growth with some opportunities. So the Untethered Soul book with Bonnie Anderson, I'm doing a great workshop with Dr. Veronica Tracy Smith called Trauma and Spirituality. And we're not going to dive deep into your traumas, but we're going to talk about ways to get the energy out of the body to allow for the beautiful foliage to burst forth in the spring with new life. So join us in one of these. Join us in one of these opportunities. Yoga, meditation on Monday. These two things together are so powerful. But we have to participate to get the juice. And I'm going to go back to the tree analogy for a second, because it just so happens today it's a full moon, and it's a very special occurrence in nature that Natalia and I were talking about yesterday. She brought this to my awareness. I had no idea. You want to talk about some trees today? Hello.
Ew, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so today is the 15th day of the month of Shavat. In my home circle is blah blah. Sorry, computer. Shush, tree.
And if you could
Yeah,
turn
tree.
yourself up a little bit, that would be awesome too.
Okay, I can do that.
Bump up the bow, you bump up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Papa, can you hear me? So tonight is a very potent portal, and try to say that 10 times fast. Shavat is the month that we're in the lunar calendar of the Jewish calendar, and the 15th month of Shavat is the 15th of Shavat is Tu B'Shavat, which is the New Year of the trees. So in the Jewish calendar, many people, we know about the one Jewish New Year, but there's actually 4. So we're at the 4th, which is the New Year of the trees. And it's said that the first part of this month is really bitter, deep, and dark. And then this part we come to Chesed, which is the spark of the divine on this full moon. And what's happening to the seeds is what's happening inside you perhaps as well, that this growing edge that we've been cultivating in this time is ready to burst forth. So the sap is starting to rise in the trees, starting right now.
Yeah.
And so it's just so beautiful. And yeah. Oh, I wanted to make sure I got this part for you, that according to Lurianic Kabbalah, which is a form of mysticism, all physical forms, including human beings, hide within themselves a spark of the divine presence. This is similar to some kinds of fruits or nuts, which hide within them seeds of new life and potential growth. So in Jewish mysticism, human actions can release these sparks and help increase God's presence in the world. So knowing that spring is indeed on her way, we will not always be in this frozen tundra. Yeah, and cultivating what you want to bring forth during this time, letting
Beautiful.
it start to bubble up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, and important to eat some beautiful, delicious foods of the earth right now, like figs and dates and yummy things that are really nourishing, and that sweetness that comes right out of our inner planet.
Isn't it beautiful?
Incredible.
How we are, it reminds us of the cycle of life, the participation with all that is. And it's such a beautiful reminder. I love that. Thank you for sharing so beautifully.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
See you later. In keeping with faith traditions, and when Jesus, the master teacher, Jesus was talking about the tree that didn't produce fruit, and he touched it and it dried up. I'm paraphrasing, like making that really, really short. It was as if when a tree doesn't bear fruit, it's your soul's calling is the fruit, as Natalia's faith tradition was sharing with us too. The soul's calling is the fruit, that spark of the divine. We are like the trees, and we produce life-giving waters. Like we produce the fruit of our soul's calling to bring forth, to nourish others. So be like that tree and bring it forth and recognize there is no limit. Grow beyond the inside edge and the outside edge to that universal consciousness, which is waiting for you. Waiting, 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 as patient as the sun. I've got this really great quote from Bruce Lee, who was amazing. And Bruce Lee says, if you always put limits on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus. And you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. So our deepest wish for you, from SoulCall Global to all of you, and to share with your friends, is to grow beyond limits, beyond what you ever thought imaginable. If you can imagine it, go even further than that. And to do that, go deep within with the help of these tools. We invite you to share us with your friends. Maybe share these talks. Say, this was, we appreciate that. Share the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter if you're listening and see some of the offerings we have. We invite you to the classes. One of them starting in a couple of weeks. The Untethered Soul, the book by Michael Singer, is going to be offered by a brilliant friend of ours, Reverend Bonnie Anderson. And there are still spots available in that class. So please make yourselves available for this opportunity. It's a couple of weeks, Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights. Is it Wednesdays? I can't remember. There it is. Yeah, Wednesdays from 7 to 9 Eastern, starting January 26th for 5 weeks. Go the journey beyond yourself, right in alignment. And then also, starting February 1st, Tuesday evenings from 7 to 8:30, Trauma and Spirituality. More information about both of these classes on the website. Break on through to the other side. This year, may this be the time. Let's do it. There's so much shift and change happening in the world. And to be part of the solution, it's time for you to come alive. And we want to encourage you in every way possible. Monday night meditations from 8 to 9 p.m. You can get the link for that. And Yoga with Natalia is the first Monday of every month, 5 p.m. And at this moment, Natalia is working on a video course that is going to be downloadable pretty soon. One thing we have available that's very exciting in our store is a calendar, a 52-week calendar filled with inspirations from SoulCall. It's $5. Grab that and share it with your friends if you would, and partake for yourself. It's just nice little reminders of the SoulCall philosophy, which is you are it. You are your own path to the infinite. So there's that. We thank you for your donations. As we evolve these programs, your donations help us to attract the quality programming and to sustain us. So we are spending those dollars wisely, and we are giving back to communities. We're in the process right now of collecting funds for our first food drive of the year, which is going to be the weekend of February 20th. So any donations you want to send our way to help feed families. Believe me, there's so many families, homeless people and families in need right now. And every penny is spent on food and filling them with love. So thank you for that. There's another way of donating we found. Let's see. I can't remember what it's called. It's an app. You'll find more information about it in the newsletter. But share the newsletter widely. And those beautiful videos, if you like a video, please consider posting it on your Instagram or your Facebook feed as a little moment of Zen for some of your friends as we navigate through, the waves of pandemic and other challenging things. We invite you to share us as widely as possible, and we thank you for doing that. If you're in need of prayer, please drop us a line at prayers@soulcallglobal.org. Our prayer team and our healing arts team are in full gear, sending out lots of love and light and enjoying positive outcomes. So just know that you're not alone. We are here for you and with you. Right after the talk today at 11 o'clock, join us for SoulCall Sunday Rewind, where we walk the talk and just share what the talk brought up for you. And I'd love to hear what it is you're going to dive in through your inside edge and bring forth as the fruit of your soul this year. So stop by and tell us what you're thinking. Who are you? Let's see. Crafternoon, February 5th. Join Natalia Zuckerman as she presents. It's always going to be fun-filled. It's February 5th, Love. It's a Valentine's Day opportunity to create something special for the one you love. Make art. Bring something forth from your being. February 5th. More information on the website. And let's see. We've got Signs and Symbols of Our Ancestors. Our book is in print. It is rolling off the presses. If you haven't gotten your copy yet, you may order it on our website in the store. Signs and Symbols of Our Ancestors. It's a book of sacred stories and illustrations that offers a lot of hope for people once we experience the transition of a loved one. So again, the invitation is courage to explore your inside edge and, pull those old habits out by the root. And if you don't know where the roots are, get into one of these class opportunities with us and let's discover and uncover and evolve and grow together. So the world's waiting. The world is waiting, and it's all God. And we can't wait to see you thrive this year. So I believe that's it for the announcements. Wake Up with the Consciousness Cafe. You know what? We've got a little snippet of a really wonderful interview. Natalia, you want to cue that up for us?
Gosh, like the organization, they like picked your logo, and I was like, wait a minute, wait, why? Like, it wasn't in my realm. I feel so grateful because it changed the trajectory, but I had no idea. Like I would never have guessed.
Right.
So. Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting thing, I mean, so easily could have said no and everything would be different.
Yeah, so remember that. I want you to take a moment and just take a deep breath with me and recognize that we are immersed in and are part of vast intelligence. Everything we see, realize, experience is made up of the dreamer's consciousness. We are a dream within a dream, Yogananda would say. It's all God. And this song is called I Didn't Know, and it's a Rumi-inspired poetry. The lyric is inspired by the poetry of Rumi, and this is Lisa and Erika with Kabir and Camille Helminski when we were out touring as Ruby. So allow this to synthesize and recognize you're always in it, with it, as it. Yeah.
Through the day I thanked you and I didn't know. At night I laid with you and I didn't know. I thought I was myself and I didn't know. But I was all you and I didn't know. Through the day I thanked you and I didn't know. At night I laid with you and I didn't know. I thought I was myself and I didn't know. But I was all you and I didn't know. Between our hearts there's a shutter we can open. But what is there to open when no walls remain? Between our hearts there's a shutter we can open. is there to open when no walls remain? Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's an open field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down upon that grass, words like you and I stop making any sense. We're all one soul struggling on the path. We're all one light from different lands. Through the day I thanked you and I didn't know. At night I laid with you and I didn't know. I thought I was myself and I didn't know. But I was all you and I didn't know. Through the day I thanked you and I didn't know. At night I laid with you and I didn't know. I thought I was myself and I didn't know. But I was all you and I didn't know. Between our hearts there's a shadow we can open. But what is there to open when no walls remain? Between our hearts there's a shadow we can open. But what is there to open when no walls remain? Between our hearts there's a shadow we can open.
Beautiful. Thank you for creating the video to that song, Natalia. And all those videos, again, are available on our YouTube channel. You can go to SoulCall Global and just type videos of SoulCall Global, and Instagram at SoulCall Global, YouTube SoulCall. So we thank you for joining us, and we thank you for sharing us. I keep asking you to do that. It would be great to get to know some of the people you love and care about, and those with whom you are sharing your light and love in the world, and those who are, the clutch to your stick shift, like my mother was to help me scaffold and grow, in addition to SoulCall. Bring us into your hearts and your life and share us with your friends so that we can grow this conscious global community together, one soul at a time. And remember, wherever you are on the planet, you are loved. Peace and blessings.
One family, one people, one planet, one love.